It's been more than a week since the attack on the Capitol, and there is still a lot we don't know what Pierre was getting at there. Federal officials are warning about threats to Washington and the nation from domestic terrorists. The National Mall, as Geoff said, is now a fortress. Security hasn't been this tight since 9/11. In D.C., there are tens of thousands of National Guard troops. There is now an investigation into accusations by Democrats in Congress that Republicans may have helped the mob scout the building out in advance of the attack. Many lawmakers continue to fear for their lives. Here's Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I had a very close encounter where I thought I was going to die. It is not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated.
The FBI's assistant director said they plan to track down the rioters. Listen to what he had to say.
In 6 days, we have opened over 160 case files, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So even if you've left D.C., agents from our local field offices will be knocking on your door if we find out that you were part of the criminal activity at the Capitol.
Pierre, we're learning that the mob was just seconds away from where Vice President Pence was hiding. Legal experts tell me there's going to have to be a significant investigation and possibly by both Congress and the Department of Justice. Tell me a little bit more about how this might unfold. And I know you talked about that that interview with officers. Tell us a little bit more about how that might play into this.
Well, one of the things they have to know is why was there so little perimeter defense on that day? They have to find that out. We have numerous reports now that there was concern passed along to Capitol Police and other officials that things could turn violent. And so now you must dissect why there was not more security. I was struck by the fact that Mitch McConnell said that security protocols were not followed and that basically he had to get answers. He and Chuck Schumer were in agreement about that. So you have that on the one hand. How did this take place? And now you also have to figure out, was there a conspiracy involving terror cells, if you will, who came with weapons, who came with metal pipes, who came with baseball bats, who came with the equipment to scale walls? In fact, sources say that what took place inside the Capitol was that you had a small group of people who were willing to commit violence and who somehow knew that the masses outside would follow them in. And just picture, if you will, Yamiche, thousands of people running through the Capitol. And not only was there a threat of physical violence, they stole things. They allegedly stole documents. They allegedly stole computers. There's concern that they may have even stolen national security secrets. So they have to get to the bottom of this, and not to mention, of course, just the ongoing threat of all these conspirators out there who may be plotting more violence.
There could be more violence. And Geoff, you've been with the Biden team. Tell me a little bit about how he's going to be able to juggle all of this. He wants his COVID plan passed, but also there are some reports that his inauguration rehearsal had to be postponed because of the security threats. What's the mood inside the Biden campaign, the Biden transition team?
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, this is an inauguration that had already been scaled back because of the pandemic, and then you add to that the environment created in the aftermath of the insurrection. Joe Biden was set to take the Amtrak train from Wilmington to Union Station in Washington, D.C. That plan was nixed because of the security concerns. And you're right, our team is told that there was a rehearsal plan for Sunday that has since been moved because Sunday marks a particular date in the calendar where national security experts say that there are a number of threats, not just in Washington, but across the country, in state capitals across the country. But I'll tell you this, Yamiche, both the president-elect and the vice president-elect say they are more resolved, perhaps now more than ever, to have the inaugural, to take the oath outside on the west front of the Capitol at noon on Wednesday, as was previously planned, as have many presidents and vice presidents before them. Not just to signal to the world the transfer of power, but to signal to those insurrectionists and seditionists that they did not and will not prevail. And Joe Biden was asked today, after he delivered remarks about his coronavirus vaccination plan, if, based on what he knows, having been briefed by the FBI and other intelligence agencies, if he feels safe. And he said yes, that he does feel safe.
only have about 10 seconds left here, but Peter, I was told that President Trump could show up to his Senate trial, upend the first few days and weeks of the Biden administration. How could all of that play out? What could that mean?
Well, it's extraordinary, right? An inauguration is supposed to be the turning of a page, the beginning of a new era, and a new president is supposed to have a fresh start on the country. And this one is going to have his predecessor sort of hanging over him in his opening days because of the trial. As much as he would like to set the agenda will be a split screen between his efforts to build a new administration and the efforts of the Senate to hold accountable the last one. And I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like that. Both metaphysically, politically, that's a problem for a president because it distracts. And in terms of getting things done, like passing legislation and confirming Senate appointees, that's also an issue.
Well, thank you so much, Peter. We're going to have to leave it there.